If I hit play, that's good. Lovely.
Right.
Coleen, I'm so excited to have a little convo with you today.
I'm excited, Evan.
So, hi everybody who's listening and or on YouTube, hopefully watching this as well. My name is Evan Alexander. I'm a Mosaic Ambassador. I'm a senior. But most importantly, I'm really excited to start this journey, to start this new project, to share with all of you who are listening here. I'm so excited. I've got one of my favorite people at Southwestern, Coleen Roche.
Hello.
Welcome to a Mosaic Monday interview in a series I'm calling Questions to Make You Fold. Not in a menacing way, in a fun way. Because here in the studio, I know you can't see necessarily because we're recording audio. Maybe someday we'll do video. But for right now, we're doing audio. Me and Coleen each have a piece of orange construction, what is it? Like
Paper,
yeah. I'm not sure it's thick enough to be construction. Oh, it's construction paper. We'll call it that. And we've got some instructions here on how to make an origami animal, an origami fox, in fact. And we're really excited to as we do some folds, ask some questions. And as the folds turn into more and more of a clear picture of a fox, as they begin to form an animal that we can identify and recognize, the questions and the conversations that Coleen and I will be having will help maybe give you, as a listener, a more full and a more complete picture of Coleen and some of the things Coleen does here at Southwestern and how the things that they're involved in here at SU can engage and relate to a lot of the Mosaic areas of development that Mosaic wants to encourage in our SU students. So anyway, all that intro being said, Coleen, we're going to start with a fold across, right? So we're going to start at the bottom left of this paper. I'm going to fold it to the top right across the corner, right?
Yes, we
and
are.
As you're making that crease there, as you're creasing that down, what I want you to tell me about, Coleen, is a little bit about yourself, some of the things you do here at Southwestern, who you are a tad.
Okay, so love to. Mostly what I do here at Southwestern is I go to class. I'm an English major. I'm also an education major. Love my English classes. And then I go to work. I work at Mosaic as well. I love being a Mosaic Ambassador. And then outside of those, I'm in Kappa Delta Chi, a non-Panhellenic sorority here on campus. And I love them so much. I love my sisters. I love the community that I feel like it's a very safe space for me. And it's a space where I can be myself and also work towards better things. So shout out Katie Kai.
That's
I love
awesome.
them.
That's awesome. We might talk a little more about them in a minute.
For sure.
But it's wonderful. So, right, you were saying you're an education major.
Yes.
So I want to ask you, as you've hopefully made that first fold.
I did it.
Let's move on to the next fold, which is going to be folding in those sharp corners you've got now into that top right corner, right? You can do one side at a time. You kind of see how the picture is leading us. Fold a corner in, fold that there, and then you do the other for the other side.
Oh,
Wonderful.
wow.
So as you're making those creases nice and clean and figuring that out, I would love for you to tell me what drives you to want to educate, right? There's teachers all over the place. There's a bunch of them, but not everybody wants to be a teacher. So what makes you want to be a teacher?
Well, that is a tough question to answer right now because in the midst of COVID and current legislation, being a teacher is not a very lucrative job, but I think what motivates me to be an educator, however that will look for me, whether it's in a classroom or in a non-traditional educational space, are the teachers that I've had. In high school, I was in an English class with a great English teacher, and I sort of realized I could just talk about books for a living like this person does. Sure. And since then I've realized it's a lot more than that, but I think saying I want to have an impact is so basic.
But if it's true, it's true.
It's more of that I know what it is. I think the right kind of education is a pathway to liberation and revolutionary thinking and action. And that the way that education looks right now in all, if not most of America, probably all of America, is very not that, both in content that we teach and also just the way that we run classrooms and many teachers' pedagogy worries me. And I enjoy reading a lot of like education scholars who are very like liberation minded, who think about like how pedagogy can empower children and also just people in like gaining agency over themselves and learning about the systems that control them, because that's like the first step in fighting against them, I think.
Yeah, that's lovely.
Okay, wonderful.
Oh, that's so good. That's a lot to think about.
Yeah.
So I know, and you kind of alluded to this without explicitly mentioning it, but I know that recently you kind of changed up your plan for graduation and what you're learning here at Southwestern.
Yes.
So 2 things I want to touch on there. One is, maybe answer these in the order you see fit. One of them is why did you do that, right? Why did you feel moved that you wanted to change what you were doing? And again, you kind of alluded a little bit to some of these reasons a minute ago, but why do you feel like you wanted to change what you're doing, and what that change was, I guess, is part of that. And also, how do you think Southwestern allowed you to make that kind of change, particularly this late in your time at SU, right?
For sure.
You practically chopped off a year of how long you were planning at staying here.
Yeah.
So if you want to talk a little bit explicitly, so I know more what I'm talking about than people listening
of
are.
course.
So explain that and why. And how that worked.
So I like to say I say it all the time. No, I like to say that like I was in my junior year for 1 week, and then I was a junior for 1 week, and now I'm a senior. And I was able to become a senior so quickly because I came into Southwestern with like AP and IB credits, and I also found myself, because of that, I had like room to take, I guess, electives that I didn't think I would need, but I just wanted to take. So I took like gender politics my first year, and multicultural children's literature, which was not a required education class, but I took those for fun. And I'm really glad that Southwestern offers classes like that aren't like required education classes. So then when I decided this year that I don't feel comfortable at the moment certifying to be an educator in like a classroom, especially in Georgetown, in Texas, in America, like because of COVID and because of like legislation around education, and also just the way that teachers are treated. It feels like like I really admire everything that they do. I wanted to do it for a long time. I still might later in my future, but I don't want to work that much. I have expectations for like my quality of life or standards for my life that I would like to reach, and working 60 hours a week is not one of those. Because I took like some more classes that I considered fun before that I didn't need, I have sort of like extra credits, like elective credits, and I was able to switch my degree from a BS in education to a BA in education, which just means that I'm not certifying. And with a BA in education, you just do like an internship and an English or an education capstone, and you also have to focus in an area of study, and mine is race and ethnicity studies. And so classes that I took for fun, like gender politics and multicultural children's lit, apply to that. And then I'm also going to be taking Afrofuturism with Dr. Evans in the English department. Shout out Dr. Evans. I don't know if you're listening.
We'll send it to them.
Okay. Yeah. What was the question?
Oh, you're good. I kind of made it up, so I don't have it written down anywhere particular.
That's great.
But I think you touched on a lot of things I was interested in. How you were able to switch.
Yeah.
Some of the reasons you switched, which I think are some very valid reasons. And kind of, talked about some of the reasons you were excited for that. Before we dive into that or anything else deeper, I kind of forgot to do a step. So what I want you to do here is, right, if you had have it that way, and have these two sharp things pointing to the top right. Other way, top right. Perfect. Great. And then flip it over on your left side, right? So take it and flip it left. And now what you're going to do, it's okay. I should have some like left, right, up, down labels here. Along this fold where it is, fold that down. Yeah, awesome. Perfect. Look at that. Because now we're going to have this triangle. And after that step, let's see. We talked about education and some of the reasons you're interested in that and how that's looked and that journey that you come along here at Southwestern. Before we dive into the next thing, let's go ahead and let you know about the next step. So the next step of folding, at least, is we're going to take both these flaps you've got here, right? Both these kind of sides.
Perfect. Oh, I see it. Okay.
So take about an inch, however big you want the head to be, of both sides and fold it in, right? If you can watch, I'm taking both and kind of folding it in. It's a little tough with this construction paper. Yeah. Maybe you want to use
Gotta be big,
a pencil to kind of like straighten it out there. Hopefully.
I'm big, strong. I don't need a pencil.
That. That'll be great. And as you're kind of working on that fold there, I have a question now about Katie Kai.
Yes.
Right? So for those that don't know, Katie Kai is a very queer organization,
yes.
right? It is a very queer sorority, and it emphasizes itself as a safe and encouraging place for queer folks at SU. But we have other organizations that do similar things, namely Pirates for Pride, right? Is explicitly a pride
for
student organization. Yeah,
queer
exactly.
People.
I'm not a member of Katie Kai, can't speak much on that, but I am a member of Pirates for Pride, and right, I can recognize that it's also a prominent queer group on campus that gives a safe space for queer people of all sorts. So why do you think, I don't know what your involvement with Pirates for Pride or knowledge of Pirates for Pride might be at this point, but why do you think that it's important for Southwestern to have both of these organizations and not just Pirates for Pride? Because maybe people that aren't involved in either of these organizations might say that, well, yeah, they do some pretty similar things, right? Why do we have both of them, right? If they're kind of touching on similar things. So maybe if you could highlight some differences there, some things, some reasons that you think both are important and that both add value to SU.
I'd love to. So I'll tell first about my experience with Pirates for Pride. I'm not super involved. I went to a few meetings my first year, and then I sort of found my groove in other organizations. But so I don't know like everything that they do. I think that it's important to recognize that Katie Kai is a sorority. So there are dues to be paid. That sounds so ominous. But people do pay dues. We offer like a lot of financial aid and stuff, but that is a prominent difference. It's a organization that's very structured. But because we have dues and a lot of structure, like there's many positions like president, secretary, treasurer. I'm the new member educator, so even our rush process of like gaining new members is very like intensive. It's like an 8-week long process because we really want to emphasize like professional development and like learning how to exist in the professional world. But it's also, we're also a service organization, so I guess it just kind of happened that all of our like members are queer. I don't know, because we're not an explicitly queer organization.
I didn't know that. I genuinely thought that was like part of it, right? Not like as a mandatory element of it, but like right, the way
anyone can rush.
Yeah, the one that like right, we have a explicitly music fraternity. I figured Katie Kai was an explicitly.
Actually, so yeah, Katie Kai is under NALFO, which is the National Association of Latino Fraternal Organizations. So we are Latinx founded. The first Katie Kai was founded, and I think Texas took. Oh my gosh, if I'm wrong, Nationals is gonna come for me. But yeah, so we are a Latinx founded organization, and our purpose and values are centered a lot around like service for specifically marginalized communities. And I don't know why we're all gay, but I'm enjoying it.
Yeah,
so it's a wonderful little mix of like having a safe space where I can feel like authentically myself and express my gender identity and my sexuality in like very comfortable ways. I generally do that across Southwestern, but there's spaces where I feel more comfortable than others. While also being able to sort of work towards my like values and commitments to mutual aid and service through Katie Kai. So that's why I like Katie Kai. I think that I don't know what Pirates for Pride does. I know that they've done more before COVID years. I guess it's been tough to do things on campus recently.
You're good. I didn't know that much about Katie Kai, so that's I'm glad that I didn't know that much about Katie Kai, so I'm glad that you.
Yeah, both are wonderful safe spaces. It kind of depends, just like where you feel most comfortable.
Sure.
And the level of commitment you're trying to give.
Sure. Okay, so next we got a couple more things. First off, we're gonna fold. We're gonna open up. Back to the origami. Wait, you were good at a spot there?
Oh.
Okay. Yep.
Okay.
And so kind of at the halfway point, right, this part you fold it over, open it up, and you can see its little head happening.
Oh, it's so cute.
And you can fold it down, fold the head down maybe a little more.
Giving what does the fox say vibes.
It is a fox. It is a fox. Good observation. And as we're kind of finishing up, we're going to have some closing details to put on this fox. Maybe if you flip the page over, you can see some examples of folding a little tail, which I'm going to do.
This makes me miss my cats.
Oh, yeah. A bummer.
If you're out there listening, my cats' names are Rogie, Pierogi, and Rupert. Wish them a happy birthday. It's not their birthday, but I want them to feel loved. So,
Coleen has absolutely glorious cats, and I like them very much. We've got these little markers here if you want to draw some eyes or anything like that. And as you're kind of adding some touches, I'm going to have kind of a basic question, but one that I'm probably going to do at all of them as we're kind of coming down.
Awesome.
Or at least for you, since you're on the back end of your time at Southwestern. Mm-hmm. So other than just like, oh, I'd take this different class, or I'd like maybe change my major earlier or anything like that, what is something that you would tell your first year self, or maybe past year self? Maybe there was something sophomore year that you needed to hear that wouldn't have necessarily been as useful as a first year. But anything like that you would want to tell a younger self?
Oh, so many things probably. Can I say a few things?
Oh, sure. I'm not stopping you.
I think, like, first, stop and reflect. You just came from high school and living with your family, and you're going to form, like, new relationships that don't look like your family. And so I think, actually, I was going to say something like reflect on, like, how relationships work. But that's too complicated. I'll say something about gender instead. Let me think. Gender crazy, bro. I feel like you're not.
You're right, bro.
Okay. I would tell my first year self that you're not cis. And that's pretty tight, I think. You should continue thinking about that. Also, audiobooks are your friend. You probably have ADHD, and you're really bad at reading PDFs. Yeah. That's not a solution, but it's better to know this earlier and to find solutions. I know the problem now. I didn't know the problem in the first year. I think that, like, as education gets more intense and, like, it's good to know how you learn. And I think in high school, a lot of people are just told the, like, right way to learn. And that goes back to, like, my thoughts on education and the American school system. But learning is weird, and your professors are there to support you, and they love you, and I love them. So maybe that was too much, but
no, that's lovely. I appreciate it.
Reading and gender, those are some things.
Reading and gender.
Those are my main focuses.
Gendering about reading.
So true. I'm in my capstone is focusing on, like, genre study, my English capstone. And I'm really, like, wanting to make the title of my capstone something like, I don't even know how to pronounce it, but, like, gender, like genre spelled with a D in the middle. And then it's like gender as genre, because I have a lot of thoughts about literary form and gender performance. So come to my capstone. I don't know when it is, but it's going to be good.
Yeah, that's wonderful. I really appreciate it, Coleen. One last thing that I just thought of, and we might just cut this entirely depending on what your reaction to it is.
For sure.
Do you got a joke for us?
Oh, God. I'm not a funny person.
It doesn't have to be one you came up with.
Oh, I know.
Just a joke that you know and that you like.
I think... Wait, okay, let me think.
We're leaving all of this in.
Okay, no pressure. Okay, so something that me and my sister were really into in, like, middle school were, like, those, like, anti-jokes.
Oh, sure,
which at this point are kind of overdone and, like, not super funny anymore. But something that me and my sister would always say to each other was, like, what did the farmer say when he lost his tractor? where's my tractor?
That's a good one.
And that one, I mean, it still gets me. I'm a comedian. Thank you.
Good stuff. So yeah, I think that's it.
Awesome.
Coleen, thank you so much for coming today.
Thank you, Evan.
Thanks so much for talking with me.
This was fun. I always enjoy talking to you, but it's even more fun with a microphone.
With a cool microphone.
I feel very cool.
So people know, I haven't totally hashed this out yet. I don't really know what this is going to look like. So this might be a very ambient thing that changes as we go along. That kind of like looks different every week. Yeah, we'll see. Thanks for listening. Especially if you stuck through the whole thing. Boy, oh boy, this has got to be, even after editing, at least like 15 minutes long. So like, what a trip.
You.
It's no fresh air, but it's a long show. But thanks so much. Check us out. This should be every Monday just about after this first one comes out. Every Monday, I'll be talking to a whole bunch of different people. Different years, different backgrounds, different interests. I think that's about it. Anything you want to plug or talk about? Any Mosaic events that we've got not directly coming up? Healthy Relationships is going on all semester, so come to those. That's something that Coleen...
Yeah. Collaborations with Mosaic and the Health Education Office. Mm-hmm. We're trying to bring public health education to you because we think it's really important. And also, lots of bystander intervention initiatives coming out this week, which it will probably have passed by the time this comes out, is Hazing Prevention Week. In late October, we're going to have bystander focus specifically on, I don't know what to call it, intervening in situations of like power-based harm, like racism and sexism and homophobia and transphobia. Yes.
Good times.
That's it.
Yeah. Thanks so much for listening, and I hope you have a wonderful day.
Bye.
Bye.